Good afternoon and thank you for joining us. My name is Ian Wafula. Let's now begin with matters corruption. And the detectives from the Anti-Corruption Commission have summoned several members of the disbanded Public Accounts Committee of the National Assembly. The detectives are investigating claims that the suspended Defense PS Mutea Iringo bribed members of parliament to remove his name from the report on the expenditure of 2.9 billion shillings in the office of the president. KTN's Patrick Amimo is currently following the events at the Integrity Center and now joins us from there. Amimo, what is the latest from this on this case?
Thank you very much, Ian. In fact, we are at Integrity Center where already two members of parliament of the Parliamentary Accounts Committee, that is Nyatike MP Edik Anyanga and the KSS MP JB, that is James Bett, have already reported here, and they are with the detectives to assist them with investigations with regard to some of the allegations that were made to that members did receive a bribe of 1.5 million shillings each from the suspended Principal Secretary Mutea Iringo. Yesterday we had the Vice Chair of that of the disbanded committee, Cecily Mbarire, coming here to share some of the information she knows about these allegations with the detectives. And today it is the date for Nyatike MP Edik Anyanga and KSS MP James Bett. Already they checked here in the morning and they are still with detectives just to show, to give them some information on this account. You see, this money, the 2.8 billion shillings, is suspected to have disappeared from a confidential account in the office of the president during the tenure of Principal Secretary Mutea Iringo, when he was the Principal Secretary Interior. And when the National Assembly's committee was investigating this matter, they came across some suspicions that this money had been secretly withdrawn and deposited into some account in the National Bank of Kenya. So the parliamentary Tuesday, some 5 members were supposed to apologize to the National Assembly. These members have been...
Well, we've lost Amimo there, but of course we shall be having more of that in our subsequent bulletins and just get to know what exactly the grilling was about today and the reactions of members of parliament on this matter. Now, moving on, the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights has called on Kenyans to participate in the upcoming police recruitment exercise slated for the 20th of April. The commission, along with the non-governmental organizations, wants Kenyans to participate in any irregularities. Let's just take that again. The commission, along with other non-governmental organizations, want Kenyans to report on any irregularities during this process.
It is important to note that there is nothing that bars you from participating in this exercise again. You are free to do so. However, we must all remain vigilant and observe good governance and human rights principles at all times. We shall ensure that there is fairness and justice, and that is why we are monitoring this process, especially as far as it relates to the female candidates. We expect that the police officers who were in the recruitment centers during the 2014 exercise who are mentioned adversely, do not participate in the exercise of this period.
Let's go to northern Kenya now, where public transport along the Garissa-Nairobi and Garissa-Dadaab-Wajir Road has been paralyzed for the 5th day running. This follows the government's revocation of licenses of buses companies plying this route over suspicion that they were involved in funding of the terror group Al-Shabaab. The most affected were Garissa Coach, E-Coach, City to City and Sabrin bus companies. The company's management has accused the government of frustrating their businesses. Sabrin bus company has reportedly gone to court to seek an injunction to stop the government from suspending their operations. Hundreds of travelers to various major towns in the northern region remain stranded in the booking offices.
Tunaomba serikali atuachie biashara ya basi, hata abiria ya Garissa wamehangaika. Tunaomba serikali ya Kenya atuachie biashara ya basi yetu aendelee kama zamani.
Ningependa kuunga serikali mkono kwa kufunga hii mabasi, kwa sababu sisi vijana wengi wa Garissa tulikuwa tunafanya na hiyo mabasi, lakini tukiona kitu ambaye sio mzuri tulikuwa tunaeleza serikali.
And still in the region, a kitty that was established for victims of last year's Mandera Quarry terror attack now has more than 1.3 million shillings for the 14 families from Nyeri County. Nyeri County lost 14 young men who had gone to Mandera to take up mining jobs at the quarry, while wishes were called upon to give donations to assist the affected families. The Nyeri County government presided over the disbursement of checks from well wishes such as the Council of Governors and Equity Bank. Each of the 14 members have received about 95,000 shillings. Well wishers have been asked to continue supporting the families of terror attacks.
Equity Bank, we donated 50,000, which we credited to the same account, and then on 8th April 2015, the Council of Governors limited into this account 1,166,666.60. The total balance as at yesterday was 1,331,843.60. This money was shared to 14 beneficiaries.
Sahi nimesikia mmesema 95,000 per family, na tungesema Bwana Deputy Governor, tungesema na tungeuliza kwa unyenyekevu, kama ile pesa haijatoka ya county government milioni 3, tujue tutatafuta wapi.
Kutoka wakati ile account hiyo ilifunguliwa, pesa ya kwanza kutolewa ni pesa tunagawanya hapa. Hakuna hata nuru moja imeenda kwenda kobo au nini. Kwa hivyo tunasema kama mtu haelewi kufanya hesabu, aende huko kwa bank atasibutishwa, kwa sababu hakuna hata nuru moja imekuliwa na mtu.
Elsewhere, a new style of robbery seems to be in the offing in Nairobi. This new style employs the use of motorcycles. Just in the last 2 weeks, some motorists in Nairobi have been mugged in broad daylight by a group determined to fulfill its quest in bold fashion. To deal with this, police have been ordered to arrest any motorbike rider carrying 2 passengers in Nairobi. KTN's Timothy Otieno reports.
Wednesday, 15th March. This white saloon car pulls over at a gate. Closely behind follows a motorbike, and all of a sudden 2 men alight and head straight for the car. One in a blue shirt threatens the guard while his partner, wielding a metal bar, goes straight for the side mirror on the passenger side of the car. The driver tries to escape and both men attack him off camera. They return to the vehicle and mug the passenger. All this while their third accomplice on a motorbike with a reflector jacket waits for them. They hurl what seems to be a stone at some eyewitnesses and speed off. The mugging near Samia Business Center on Mombasa Road takes less than a minute. A week earlier at around 12 noon, a similar robbery, this time near Vision Plaza on the same highway. What appears to be the same gang, this time with a gun, stop a silver car. The driver tries to speed off, but the gang persists. They are on a mission. They rob the motorist and shoot twice in the air before they escape once again with the help of a man on a motorbike. The 2 robberies take place in broad daylight along the same highway, and in both instances, a motorbike is used for the escape. The gang has not yet been caught, but motorists are now wary of what appears to be a new style of committing crime. Earlier today, an AP officer was shot and wounded by gunmen on a motorbike in a botched robbery in Pumwani area. The officer has been admitted at the Nairobi hospital. In January last year, a former police reservist was shot dead on the streets of Mombasa in full glare of the public. In October last year, bank robbers in South Sea made away on a motorbike after holding staff there hostage. The police are now on a hunt for this gang that appears to have employed the use of boda boda in their escape plan. Timothy Otieno, KTN.
Well, let us now just cross over back to the Integrity Center where Patrick Amimo is now on standby again. Detectives from the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission have summoned several members of the disbanded Public Accounts Committee of the National Assembly. The detectives are investigating claims that the suspended Defense PS Mutea Iringo bribed MPs to remove his name from the report. The expenditure of 2.9 billion shillings in the office of the President. KTN's Patrick Amimo now joins us. Amimo, if you can just tell us which members are there today and what is happening right now?
Thank you, Ian. In fact, there are two members of that committee that are present here and currently with the detectives, and this is Yatike, Member of Parliament, Omondi Anyanga, and KSS Member of Parliament, James Bett. These are members of the National Assembly's Public Accounts Committee, and already they are coming here to assist detectives with information with regard to claims of members having been bribed with at least 1.5 million shillings by the suspended Defense Principal Secretary Mutea Iringo in order to expunge his name from that report that was investigating this confidential expenditure at the office of the President. From report, it's indicated that the money was withdrawn irregularly from this account and put in a secret account at the National Bank of Kenya. So the committee has been investigating that report, but it appears somewhere as they went toward the tail end of that report, there were differences when it appeared that some members' allegations came flying that members were bribed in order to remove it has them into this report, not implicating with the corruption. So detectives here are already getting statements from members to get to the bottom of this matter. The other issue is that already, like yesterday, we had the vice chair of the committee, Cecily Mbarire, coming here to at least share information on what she knows about this with detectives. The previous day, on Wednesday, we had the chair of that disbanded committee, Ababu Namwamba, also sharing a dossier with the detectives here, and he expects to see at least high-profile prosecutions from this particular investigation. Already that committee has been disbanded, but detectives are in charge of the matter, and we expect maybe in the course of next week the suspended Defense Principal Secretary Mutea Iringo will come to be questioned by detectives here. Back to you, Ian.
Thank you very much. That is Patrick Amimo just giving us a brief from the Integrity Center, where currently two members of the Public Accounts Committee are undergoing grilling. That is James Bett of KSS, and we also have Nyatike, Member of Parliament, Omondi Anyanga. Now let us move on to other stories. As foreigners flee South Africa, in neighboring Botswana, it is a paradise for many immigrants from across the continent. Many of the foreign nationals living and working there are Kenyans. One such Kenyan abandoned medical practice here in Kenya over 20 years ago, and today she's an entrepreneur and an influential member of that society. Our special correspondent, reporter Alex Chamoda reports from Botswana on these Kenyans who have chosen to dare to dream abroad.
Rachel Wangeshi Muraya was 29 years old when she quit her job as a nurse at the Nairobi hospital in 1994 to join other nurses who are trooping to Botswana for greener pastures. In Kenya then, she was earning 7,000 shillings, and on landing a job in Botswana, her monthly salary went up 7 times to an equivalent of 50,000 shillings.
I was able to afford a car, I was able to live a good life and be able even to go to visit South Africa, which would never have been possible if I was in Kenya.
Fast forward, and Rachel's story is now a tale of a bold transformation from a nurse to an entrepreneur beyond borders.
Peace, love, and joy.
A proud owner of one of the top private primary schools in Gaborone City. Did she have to undergo training in management and education away from nursing?
Administration is part of registered nursing, and that is what I did in my training. So the only thing that I added was the methodology teaching.
Rachel says she began small, using her little savings, but later combining with loans.
I started with the babies, went to the nursery, and then the preschools. That's what we call them here. And it eventually became a primary school. And our main aim is to raise godly children with a purpose.
Hence the name of the school. The school has at least 1,000 children. Here, the primary level goes up to standard 7.
Working in theater, this is where you are having operations, you're operating with doctors. It's blood everywhere. You kind of lose yourself and you become one who is not together with the people. And life becomes like it's nothing. And I thought, I am going to lose it. I wanted to be sane. I wanted to be somebody who can be able to say, how are you, and be happy. Every time you ask somebody in the hospital, how are you, they are sick. What else do you want them to tell you? So I wanted a profession that would give me peace in my heart and that would make me normal. And I thought the children were the best. And indeed, they have changed my life.
Out of a teaching staff of 45, Rachel has employed 15 Kenyan qualified teachers.
Portuguese chicken and many others.
Eric Ondieki teaches English.
Enough rainfall, yes.
Farmers should build small.
Onsarigo Muita, on the other hand, is a science teacher. Most of the teachers in this school are foreigners.
The government pays better. Very good salaries. A government teacher in Botswana very rarely will leave the government to come and work in the private schools.
A Kenyan teacher who earned about 10,000 shillings in Kenya now takes home the equivalent of about 50,000 shillings, including allowances, after joining this school.
My starting salary for the daycare centers is about 2,500. That's 25,000 Kenya shillings. I have a school in Kenya, in Nakuru. The salaries are very low. I get very worried. How are they going to live? They're telling me for a head teacher 15,000 Kenya shillings, which is 1,500. That is the price that I give to a cleaner here.
The local currency, known as the pula, is far much stronger than the shilling. One pula is equal to roughly 10 shillings. Botswana, with a population of about 2 million, depends mainly on proceeds from diamonds to run the economy, and the public service is well taken care of thanks to prudent management of resources. Teachers or nurses or doctors' strikes over salaries are rare in Botswana, but common in Kenya.
No, it's the government to pull up and pay the teachers well, because the Kenyan government has more resources than the Botswana government.
However, not all is negative for Kenya.
Kenya definitely has got very high education standards. If you leave Botswana with your child with an A grade from Botswana, it becomes a B in Kenya.
And Kenyan teachers looking for greener pastures may ask, is there room in Botswana?
Botswana has a lot of opportunities, but the only problem is the resident permit and the work permit. You have 90 days in any country to be able to do your paperwork, and if you don't get a residence permit or work permit within that time, it becomes very difficult because you really have to get out of the country. But the opportunities in Botswana are many. I personally, as we speak, I don't have any space for anybody. So if anybody comes today, I don't have a space for a teacher because I am full.
Many Kenyans are able to excel abroad even without forfeiting their Kenyan citizenship.
Most of us, when we are here, our aim is to develop home. We are able to buy plots and we are able to build. By the time we come out of here, because one day we shall end up going back home, not now, but at least when we become a little bit old, we do not want to go home and beg.
Statistics indicate that there are over 3 million Kenyans in the diaspora. Those who are registered with the High Commission in Botswana are 5,000. statistics further indicate that Kenyans living abroad send home annually over 200 billion shillings. And it is because of that significance that the Kenyan government now has a diaspora policy to incorporate them in marketing Kenya, in skills and knowledge transfer, and in investment back home.
I'm often encouraged by the amount of goodwill that the Botswana have towards Kenyans, because they say, you know, if in every sector here, if you look at the Meat Commission, they talk about Kenyans. If you look at the Botswana housing sector, they talk about Kenyans.
The capacity building efforts of Botswana to create a bureaucracy that can effectively deliver were helped greatly by the numbers of Kenyans that came in. The very first chairman of Botswana Public Service Salaries Commission, or the Salaries Commission, was a Kenyan.
Say hi, Alex. Hi, Alex. Hi. Once upon a time, Kenyans who left the country for greener pastures abroad were vilified as being unpatriotic and contributing to brain drain. But now, the story has changed to that of brain gain when Kenyans excel abroad, as their achievements are felt back home. Rachel is definitely one of them. For KTN, I'm Alex Chamwada.
Welcome back. Let us just cross borders now, and about 200 foreign nationals have reportedly taken refuge at a police station in eastern Johannesburg after foreign-owned business were attacked and looted overnight. This despite President Zuma's call for peace. The attack came hours after thousands took to the streets of Durban to protest the violence that has left at least 6 people dead and has now spread to Johannesburg. In the past 2 weeks, shops and homes owned by foreigners in Durban and surrounding townships have been targeted, forcing families to flee to camps protected by armed guards. Many jobless South Africans accuse foreigners of taking jobs. Zulu King Goodwill Zwelithini has been accused of fueling the attacks by saying that foreigners should go back to their countries. However, he said that these comments had been distorted. Quite unfortunate incidences we're witnessing in South Africa. Now, after more than 2 decades of conflict that decimated Somalia's economy, the banana industry is bouncing back with focus on regaining its crown as the leading banana exporter in East Africa. Here's more on the country's ripe industry.
On this plantation in Afgoye, less than an hour's drive outside Mogadishu, workers harvest the fruit of an industry on the bounce: bananas. The heavy bunches are carried to a waiting truck, which will transport them to the capital's port, and from there to destinations far and wide.
Today we are exporting 12 containers of bananas to Iran following a contract we signed with an Iranian company.
After more than 2 decades of conflict that decimated Somalia's economy, the banana industry is once again resurgent. With an improving security situation in the country, banana farmers are steadily scaling up production for both domestic and foreign buyers. Although the Growers Association estimates that less than a third of the 5,000 hectares previously in use remain active today.
The Ministry of Agriculture has helped one of the export companies that has managed to export bananas for the first time in 25 years.
Part of the industry's draw is the easy access to seaports from farms and the close proximity to Middle Eastern markets. And of course, it's also about taste. Since Italian colonists first brought bananas to Somalia in the 1920s, the fruit has become a major staple of the country's cuisine, often paired with rice or pasta. But in this Mogadishu market, sellers complain that the push to export bananas abroad is causing local prices to rise.
Bananas used to be very cheap, but the price has now doubled. People don't like the increase in price, and you cannot persuade them to pay more. The export of bananas is causing us problems.
Other challenges remain too, like rebuilding irrigation systems, roads and storage facilities, and ongoing security concerns. Still, many are betting that the time is ripe for Somalia to regain its crown as the leading East African banana exporter.
Back home, the battle between Kenya ladies volleyball team and arch rivals Egyptian side is certain to dominate next week's tournament that will commence at the Lugogo Indoor Arena in Uganda next Tuesday. The home team will be seeking to finish top of the Zone 5 All-Africa Games qualifiers in Kampala next week, and after naming his 12-man squad, the head coach expects positive results.
The national women's volleyball team is confident of a Zone 5 top finish during the All-African Games qualifiers scheduled in Kampala next week. The Kenyan queens of volleyball have been pulled alongside beat rivals Egypt, hosts Uganda and Ethiopia in the campaign to secure one of the two automatic qualification slots for the All-African Games in Congo-Brazzaville in September. And that's a tie they believe they're up to.
The team is now more motivated than ever before, and I want to assure you that the performance that we're going to give from this time round is going to impress everybody.
We've been training for reception and services, and reception has always been our main weakness, but now I have to say that we've really improved.
Janet Wanja of Kenya Pipeline will captain the traveling party that includes Joy Lusenaka, Masi Moim, Noel Murambi, Monica Biama, Evelyn Makuto, Lydia Maio, Esther Wangeshi, Ruth Jepngetich, Triza Atuka, Edith Wisa and Esther Wangeshi. Joy Lusenaka and Triza Atuka will be making their first senior outing, and they remain eager to sparkle.
Najua nitacheza vizuri juu sina uoga, nimecheza na wachezaji wazuri, kwa tayari kwa sababu nimecheza na junior team na pia nimechezea club yangu, nimecheza games za nje, so nimezoea.
Experienced Praxidis Agala together with dependable Janet Washu will miss this competition owing to club commitments in France, something that does not worry the head tactician.
We have a lot of belief in the players that we have, and the players who are coming in with a lot of strength and power and a lot of knowledge, and even when they come back from France, they are going to fight for their place.
The side is set to travel to Uganda on Sunday, for a tie set to serve off the following Tuesday. Moses Wahesi, KTN Sports.
Good luck to the ladies, and that story by Moses Wahisi brings us to a close this afternoon. Don't go too far. Of course, we have more in our program lineup. Enjoy the rest of your viewing. My name is Ian Wafula.